Welcome to PredWings Podcast, where Smashville and Hockeytown collide. And now your hosts, Rhett and Ron White and D-Law, Dan Lawless. Welcome to PredWings Podcast. We are back, and this is season number 5, episode 114, but we're starting season 5.
5. Cinco.
Well, I guess we made it this far. So I guess it's been quite a while. Last time we had a show was the season was going on. But again, it was
in the year of the cat. In the year of the cat.
Yep. And I know it's been such a long
They're
time.
a dynasty.
It's been a long time. I probably almost forgot who won the Stanley Cup. But yeah, Florida won again. It was basically a real rematch. But anyway, season starts on Tuesday, a triple header. Predators and the Wings don't start until next Thursday, the 9th, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Some new and interesting things that we decided going forward for season 5. We made some cuts.
Yep, Dan is out. We cut Dan from the roster. We're bringing in the replacements.
Maybe is this?
Oh no, sorry, Dan.
Is this the AI? The AI D-Law?
It is. I mean, it can't get any worse than the real D-Law. Let's just face it.
Before I get into that, just want to mention our social media, PredWings Podcast. We're on Facebook and Instagram, and X. We're at PredWings Pod, and you can also follow us and listen to us on Podbean. And we do have an email address, even though we never get any email, but it's PredWingsPodcast@gmail.com. And before I jump into the Beer League Minute, I just want to take a little break. And here's this. Sports fans, watch live on YouTube Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. to get caught up on all the big sports events and news as D-Law breaks down the big stories and news. Follow and subscribe to Sports with D-Law on YouTube at PredWings Podcast, and catch us on Facebook and X at Sports with D-Law. Actually, I need to redo that promo because it's at Sports with D-Law, not at PredWings Podcast.
Oh, Jesus. Here we go.
I forgot I never redid that. And it's also 8 p.m. now. We changed it to 8 p.m. Unfortunately, I didn't have a show this week because I wasn't feeling all that great. So we will be back Wednesday night.
You had baby duty.
At Sports with D-Law. No, that was me. I just want to get this over with. It's going to be real short, but we do
just
have
an intro.
Beer League Minute.
That was it. There's a segment. Let's move on.
That pretty much sums it up. 3 games into the season. I think we gave up the most goals this last game. We just keeps getting worse. The first game, total blowout. Team probably shouldn't have been in our league. It is a novice plus league though, not novice /novice plus. Probably so they can not have to get rid of a lot of some players, but it was just ugly. Second game I thought was even worse, ugly, but Thursday night game we actually had a 2-0 lead. and just fell apart. We did score 5 goals, but still lost. We might win a game sometime this season. But I guess I don't expect too much. I mean, trying to have fun and everything, but losing.
Well, Dan, you know what they say.
Losing gets old after a while.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
Let's see. Well, I guess. Well, this is where we would normally go into the recaps, but obviously the season hasn't started yet. Next week we'll have a recap. But I do, I want to kind of go through some final standings from our. So the final standings for the weekly picks last season. Ron actually won 44-41. I was actually 50%. So I can't get one. Well, I guess 50%. You were 53%. So we'll see what happens this season. We definitely have room for improvement. I don't know what that means if and we know their teams. Actually, wait a minute. That was on the Preds side. The Wings side, you had 48 and I was 41.
Woohoo!
Overall,
unfortunately, those weren't wins; they were wing losses.
They were
Dan
correct.
had faith.
They were correct calls. But the overall, you were 92 and I was 82. So obviously 50%. Your overall correct was 56. So I was surprisingly 50% on both Wings and Preds, and you were a little bit better on the Wing side. So we'll see. We'll see how we do this season. And as far as the playoffs, the West, we were
the best.
We were both 4-4 predicting those, and I was a little better on the East. I was 6-1, and you were 5-2.
Okay.
So overall 10-9. So pretty close. So predictions are pretty much, as far as the playoffs, were good. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens this season. So there's been obviously some lot of additions in the NHL, but some new noteworthy. I know your former GM going way back to Detroit, and then he went to Edmonton, I believe, before they canned him. He's now in LA. So
he must love the West Coast.
So, and I think they've made some. I haven't really looked too much, but I think they did make some splashes. I think they did get. I think they got a goalie, but I can't remember which one now. So we'll see what he does to the Kings, if he tears them apart or makes them into champions like he did with Detroit.
We'll see.
But Utah does have a name now, so they're not just. We can't call them Utah. It was decided on a fan vote. I believe that happened earlier this summer, I think.
I think it was.
And they decided on the Mammoth. The logo, it's kind of cool, actually.
I don't know. Let me pull it back up here.
It kind of looks. They're kind of. I don't know. It kind of maybe a little bit too close to the Predators, but they're not.
It is very close to the Predators. For
like,
sure.
They don't.
Must have been the same designer.
The fangs are a little bit different. They're just copying, because remember the old Arizona team, Phoenix team, whatever you want to call them, Phoenix, Arizona, whatever. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Boy, I don't want to see them play each other. It's actually going to be pretty confusing. Like, I'm looking at a picture.
Well, the colors are totally different. They do play him quite a few times.
Yeah, but it's just the logo is too close for me.
And then we'll get to see him next Saturday in Nashville, but we'll get into that a little bit later. I don't know if you got any other news stories that really jumped out. I know the Predators just signed Luca Evangelista to a 2-year, $6 million. So that's like $3 million per year.
Oh yeah, I did read that.
So
I think that's a good one.
I'm glad they were able to sign him. It
Yep.
might be a little steep, $3 million a year, but I guess it all
but
depends.
He doesn't own you.
It all depends on
If he goes downhill, you can offload him without any issue.
$3 million a year, though.
Yes, I'm just saying, he's only there for 2 years. It's not like you sign him to an 8 or 9 year deal.
I mean,
why do you want to get rid of him?
He only had 10 goals last season, 22 assists. So,
and how many years did he play in the NHL?
Well, he played 68 games last season. He's got a total of 172 games, 33 goals total. So, I mean, I guess we'll see. He has up until last year. He went from 7. Well, plus he only played 24 games that year, had 7 goals, and then he played 80 games and had 16 goals. And then he played 68 and had 10. So I think he was injured. So I mean, he suppose if he would have played 80 games, he probably would have had more goals. So I guess he can. I guess so. We'll just have to see. Maybe he can put the puck in the net this season. So we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe that's a good contract. Guess we can only wait and see what happens this season. But that's pretty much all the really main news that I got for the Predators. Although they did just claim Tyson Jost from off waivers from Carolina. I don't know if that's really big or not. Was he? I don't remember if he was ever on the Predators or if he was somewhere else. I know he was on Carolina. I don't remember what teams he was on. But, he's a veteran. I think he's, how old is he? 27 years old. So he's kind of, I guess he's kind of getting towards the prime, I guess, even though he's not.
He's got time. Time.
I just think it's more, he might not be a veteran, but compared to some of these younger players, it might be more of a veteran presence. But, they clean him off waivers, so they really can't, they really didn't have much to lose, so. But that's about all I got for the Predators. Nothing. I don't really get into the NHL. Where now. Oh, I do want to mention.
The only thing that I just want to bring up that one of the kids that's been really standing out for the Red Wings is Emmett Finney. He's been looking pretty good, and as of right now, they've got him, on the first line with Larkin and Razor. So, I'm excited to see what he's going to bring to the table.
So more youth in Detroit.
Yeah.
It's
coming.
I know you. I think if I remember, you were a little disappointed in them last season. If I remember, I'm thinking that you were thinking
they just didn't make any moves.
Playoffs. So I'm wondering what your preseason prediction for them. Briefly. This season.
I'm going to be completely honest with you, D-Law, and I think pretty early on we'll see what this team is made of. Like I said, you're bringing in Emmett Finney, a couple new faces, but I think a lot of it's going to be where they are at the deadline, and if Eiserman's going to actually make a splash to push them into the playoffs. But he's pretty set. I mean, he's said in press conferences that he's not just going to do something just to do it. So it's got to make sense. He's got to see like a deep run, but I'm hopeful that we'll sneak into a wild card. But realistically, I don't see it this year. Maybe next year as we get a couple of these young guys acclimated, but we're also going to factor, how many years are we going to have Kaner? Who knows? So the team's going to be shifting and changing and evolving year after year as guys get older. So I'm hoping that we make a big push this year to actually go and get a sign. I mean, a lot, like I said, it's going to play out who's available, who's not available, who's being shopped. So, but I think a big move is going to indicate where Eiserman thinks his team is.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously the beginning of the season, the first 5-10 games, obviously, it doesn't
shaking the rust off.
It doesn't
Nope.
determine the
They're just
season at
shaking the rust
all.
off.
I mean, you can't really win the division, and definitely can't. Well, you probably could lose it. I mean, last year Predators had that horrific start.
They made a late push.
And then they got, as the season progressed and they got to gel and get to know each other and got bring these young players in. So it's going to be interesting this season. I mean, obviously you can't have much of a worse start than you did last year, although they probably could. But I don't see that happening. I don't see them going 10-0. But I think it's going to be modest. They might be mid-pack. So I mean, I think they will make the playoffs this season, but it might be a struggle. It's something interesting this year. Looking at the schedule, they usually have the CMA road trip in November, where they're usually the Canadian road trip. Well, this year they don't really have that. They are on the road. They're going to the Global Series. I believe it's in Finland. They're playing the Penguins, which is interesting. They leave their first road game during that time is the 10th, and then they return home on the 22nd. So they are gone for about the same amount of time, but they only have 3 games in that span. So that will also be interesting, when we get to that point, if that, kind of rust and obviously going to Finland and adjusting the time and everything. And because, they play the 16th, and then they return back to Nashville for a game on the 22nd. So that's only a few days. So, we'll see how their body adjusts, and so we'll just keep an eye out on that. And as far as we're dealing with predictions, I did, and something new. I know we've been doing the PredWings 10. Something we're going to try out for this season. We're not going to actually do, we were doing the PredWings 10 every week. I don't think we're going to actually start that until like probably the mid-season part, maybe January, somewhere on in there.
Yeah,
maybe.
when things start to really shape up and actually play out.
But I did just do a quick I don't want.
Did it anyways.
I just did a preseason. I don't even want to say like a PredWings 10. I just did the top 10. just like a preseason ranking. I don't even want to. I put it under the PredWings 10, but I don't know if I really want to call it that. I want to just kind of like where I see teams finishing in the league, as as of the preseason right now. I mean, obviously it's going to change. So I got Florida, on top. They're still the team to beat. Edmonton, they did have some changes, but they're still a good team. They still got that core. I think they'll still be back. Winnipeg, there's really hasn't changed much. I think they lost. They might have lost one or a couple players. I think they might have added a couple. Carolina, they're still a top team. Utah, they got really good youth, really good young players. I think they're going to be one of the top teams this year. Washington, they're we'll see how Ovechkin does. I think he's nearing retirement. He says he's still not ready to retire, but
I don't know.
we'll see how that
Yager did it.
we'll see how that happens. How he feels go out through the rest of the season. Obviously how he starts the season, and then I got Dallas, Colorado, and then the Kings. Well, I mean, I guess we'll give Holland the first year. I mean, he might not like destroy him till the second or third year. So, but the Kings are, they made some moves.
Yeah, we'll see.
And this might be a surprise to a lot of people, but I'm gonna say Buffalo. I know they had some goaltending issues. They just got, now I don't remember who it was, but they just got a goaltender. I don't remember now. I'll have to look real quick, but they got a solid team. I just they're going to be a sneaky team to watch out for. So just some of my top 10 teams, and yeah, Predators aren't on there, and they're probably in the bottom 15 right now as far as I don't want them to be, but realistically, I think that's probably right now where they're at as far as I'm concerned. I don't know about I haven't really seen um any preseason from the so-called experts.
So where do you think? I was just thinking about this. So where do you think the Preds are this year?
I kind of alluded to that a little bit. Like I said, probably I'd probably say mid pack.
I mean, like,
They might.
are
Oh,
you okay with that? With Trotz in his second year?
well, I want to be competitive. They do have a youngish team. I mean, they do have some veteran. Well, more, I don't want. I guess you can call them veterans. More established players. Um, but I think they just gotta learn to win. Kind of like Detroit did a few years ago.
Yeah, but that takes like that was a Florida like team. They had the grit, they had the tenacity, they had the skill. I mean, let's just be honest. Florida doesn't have a megastar. They don't have an Austin Matthews. They don't have a Connor McDavid. They don't have that. They've got a bunch of gritty dogs, and a couple of them are just a little better than the others.
But I mean,
That's how you win.
As good as the Crosbys and Ovechkins are, and even Crosby, even though he's aging out, I kind of rather have that kind of team that scraps and you know occasional fight. Although I think the Bears have more than an occasional fight, but
yeah, they've got their fair share.
I would like to see them fight less. I just don't think that's part of it. I think they need to pick their spots, not have them just drop the glove just because somebody looks at them wrong. But it just those kind of players in Florida showing that you don't. I mean, they do have a couple superstars, but they don't. Not. I wouldn't say. I wouldn't really even say they have a McDavid on their team. You might be able to argue that, but
They don't.
yeah, but they got players that are gritty and like Marchand, and I believe he just re-upped too with them, at least 1 year, maybe 2 years, something like that. So they have re-signed their core. I think they signed like 3 or 4 of their players, the core
Yeah,
group.
they're going to
See,
be good again.
so and that's why I got them at my prediction, my preseason top. But a team like them where they're gritty and tenacity, and they go to the front of the net, and that's the kind of team that I want the Predators, to be like, more than teams like Edmonton or trying to think of maybe like a Colorado. I don't see Colorado. I see Colorado more like a Edmonton, fast, speedy team. Even Dallas, even though Dallas does have players that do go to the front of the net like Florida, Dallas does seem to have more speed, except for Duchesne. But that's just because he's old. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the Predators evolve this season, and how they last season how they started, and even the players, like Stamkos and Forsberg, and they knew that in March or so, they knew they didn't have it in the beginning of the season. So it's just kind of interesting to see how they react this season, if they can come out of the gate, flying, or if they'll do what they did last year. I don't see that happening, but who knows? The season starts on Thursday. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'll just I'd be really surprised if the Predators were in the top 16. Um,
See, I think the Red Wings will make it. They'll flash that they've got some potential, and then they'll do what they've done the last 3 years and just peter out. It's like they can't finish a season. They can't complete it. I don't know if they're tired. I don't know if the leadership is lacking, but they just can't finish out a season. They do respectable pretty much every year, all year, but when it matters, they falter.
kind of reminds me of the old Predators, back when in the late '90s, um, when in like February, March, the Predators just in the big game, they just fell apart and they couldn't win, and lost a lot of playoff opportunities because of that. So it's kind of like that. Detroit's kind of like, for some reason, and at that time Detroit was at the top of the league and winning cups, and well, 1 or 2, but they were right there, every year, and it's just kind of funny that how it evolves, where it becomes the opposite. Obviously, it's a different ownership, or not ownership, different management, coaches, different players, so things happen. So it's just kind of interesting how they kind of collide. But just real quick, revisiting the Sabres goalies. I don't know how I could forget. Uh, I can never pronounce that name. I hope I don't have to say that name very much this season. Alexander Georgiev. He was,
Georgiev?
but yeah, George. Yeah, I don't know if he's pronounced. But anyway, he was on Colorado, I believe. He was on the Rangers at one time, and they also got Alex Lyon.
Oh, good old
Was
Alex
it was
Lyon.
was Was he in Detroit last year, or was he somewhere else? I don't remember if he came. I
That's a
can't
good
remember if
question.
he came. I don't remember if he was in Detroit last year or not, but I know he was there one time. But so they, and of course they got that Pekka guy too, not Pekka Rene, the other Pekka. Um, so I mean,
The better Pekka.
so now that the Sabres have solid goaltending, if they stay healthy, I think that was probably their problem last year. I don't remember, but they're going to be a dangerous team. I think they got the same coach, but anyway, just I just wanted to reiterate that a little bit, but I think um, I think I'm done with that part of it. I don't really have any more. And I don't think I really have anything else other than the game, the one game that's coming up for the Predators this week before our normal shows luckily get scheduled to be on Friday nights. I think we tried that last season. I don't remember what day we were last season. It's so long ago, but this season we're gonna try to do Friday nights. Um, so the Predators home opener is going to be Thursday the 9th against Columbus. So they're going right to the other conference to start. So, and then the Wings will start on the same day. Their home opener is against Montreal. So we'll see. That's kind of interesting that their home opener is against Montreal. So
Who's that? The Wings?
the Wings.
Yeah. Yeah, nice original six matchup. Then they're fouled into Toronto
And I
for a back to
believe,
back.
didn't they end the season against Montreal? No, they didn't. They ended the season against Toronto. Why did I think they ended the season against Montreal? But yeah,
Toronto team or Canadian team.
yeah.
But yeah, Detroit's going to get tested pretty early on. They got Florida on the 15th, and then followed up by the Bolts on the 17th. Then we can even take it one more and go the Oilers on the 19th.
Oh, and the aforementioned Toronto, they got that home and home.
Yeah, no, I know they do. But I'm just saying, like those are the like they're getting tested pretty early on with some pretty heavy hitters.
The Predators, I mean, they're actually, I mean, it's kind of a rough start. I mean, they do have the first two games. I mean, obviously, I'm only going to predict go through the one game because our show. Columbus, and then they stay home on the 11th to play Utah. And then they got to go on the road to Canada, Ottawa, Toronto, Montreal, and Winnipeg. So then they return home for another 5 games. So, but I did mark down the first 5. I might revisit that, but I know.
Yeah, I mean, because there still could be a roster
Yeah,
change here or there too.
I mean, I don't think the rosters are actually filled. Actually, I think the cuts are. They did reduce it to 28 players. I think is that the last one? Because Tuesday's a start, so it probably has to be finalized by Sunday or Monday. I would think, even though they don't start till Thursday. But I think they're gonna win the home opener. Actually, I did fill out my predictions for the first 5 games, but
Me too.
I'll 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 mention those next week. I won't bother mentioning what I put, but yeah, I'm gonna call a win for the home opener. I think they're gonna be ready. I mean, Columbus is a tough team. I think they're going to be a different team this year. But I just had that feeling the Predators are going to put a lot more effort this year than they did last year.
I think they're going to win against Columbus. Yeah, Wings are home against Montreal. I'm going to say a win. I think that Detroit's going to come out, and I think they're going to have a good start to the season. And it's just going to depend on if they can carry that momentum on.
Yeah, I think I called a win for that too, because I think that the fans, the Detroit fans, they're revved up for the Lions and the Tigers. Tigers just advanced, so I think they're going to come out, and obviously we don't know what's going to happen. They could be in, they could be out by the time the ninth happens. But the fans are so revved up for Detroit sports. I think they're going to come out and really be full bore for the Red Wings, and that'll really ignite the Red Wings with that fan, the loud arena, against Montreal.
Boy, wouldn't that be something, huh?
But we can always talk about Detroit sports on the other sports show sometime.
Yeah, no, of course.
But for now, this is not the sports show.
Nope.
But
I like your take, though. I do. I like your take with that.
I think
you're right. I think Detroit City is. Definitely. We're in full swing.
I just wish that it was the same way with the Predator, with Nashville. I mean, see, they're they don't really, it's so, with the city like Detroit, and I think the college teams are doing good too, and they're so they're just, the people of Detroit are, they're really revved in their sports, and so they're going to go out. And as far as Nashville, they don't have much to root for in the Titans, and they don't have any other professional teams, so, and they're just ready, waiting for the hockey season to start, because they're hoping that the Predators are going to be a lot better. And obviously it's kind of two different worlds, where you got one city where all your sports teams are doing good, and the other city where maybe one, who knows, they might both be terrible, but we'll just have to wait and see. But I think that's all I got for this week. I don't think, am I missing anything?
No, I don't think so. I don't.
I think I covered just about everything. Fantasy hockey. PredWings podcast hockey. Fantasy hockey. So if you guys want to, we got 5 confirmed teams right now. So you want to try to see who's, obviously it's a free league. It's on Yahoo, so it's also public, so there's no prior, it's just find that PredWings podcast hockey. So
That's right.
the draft is coming up this Sunday, just before the season. I know a lot of people have the fantasy draft, like before the season starts. It's like, yeah, I wanted to do that like just before the season starts. So yeah, join us on our fantasy hockey and see if you can take down well, not me. I not surprisingly not doing too good in hockey like I am in football, but maybe because I got too many Predators. I don't know. I don't remember what I had last year. Or did I even have a season last year? I don't remember.
You sucked.
But anyway, oh yeah, I think we did have a season, but I don't think I did. I don't think I made the playoffs. But anyway, we'll see you next Friday, and unless you got anything more.
Nope.
Okay, our social media, PredWings Podcast on Facebook and Instagram, and X is at PredWings Pod. And join us next Friday live on Podbean, and thanks for tuning in to the PredWings Podcast.
Good night, Hockey Town.
See ya, Smashville.